Alright. We finally reached the top 5. And what better way to start the top 5 is with the Grey Knights. And you're probably thinking, really? Grey Knights? Are you serious? They are not a top 5 army. Here is where I'm going to disagree. They are a very solid top 5 army. For the sole fact, every unit is a psyker. So you're going to be getting a crap ton of warp charges. Number 2, Grey Knights are really the only army that you can have Terminators as just a regular troop choice. For everyone else, Terminators are an elite. That's huge. And I think the biggest thing for Grey Knights is the fact that they have the Nemesis Strike Force, which, if you've not played Grey Knights before, Nemesis Strike Force, you can start nothing on the table on turn 1. And especially if you go second, your opponent moves, gives you a big advantage, because then, as long as you roll, I believe it's a 3-up, you can, and if you get the rolls, you can practically deep strike your entire army. Now here are some other things. You get a good assortment from close combat weapons, with power swords, halberds. Each Terminator is affixed. I'm sorry, not Terminator. Each model, every Grey Knight is affixed with a Stormbolter. So you're getting 2 shots automatically. You've got the Incinerators, essentially flamers. You got the side cannons, essentially almost like heavy bolters. But then you have probably the biggest weapon in their arsenal. It takes up heavy support, but how can you argue against a Nemesis Dread Knight? Monstrous creature with the upgrades. If you give it every single upgrade, it can basically be jump, like it was a jetpack. You can put 2 weapons on it, and the most common build I've seen has been a heavy side cannon, and I believe it's a heavy incinerator, or the flame weapon. And then you give it the Nemesis Great Sword, which really packs a punch. And the other thing that really helps or benefits Grey Knights is the fact that if you know your opponent is going to be running either Chaos or the Chaos Demon Codex, and that's one I think I might have left off this list, you get preferred enemy, because Grey Knights were created to deal with Chaos and with the demons. Now, here's the downside. The fact that you only have basically the one formation. That does not help at all Nemesis Strike Force. You could run it as a CAD, but really, the Nemesis Strike Force, how could you argue with it? They don't really have much of an air force other than the Storm Raven. And then on top of that, you don't get the ability to get drop pods. So really, your only way, if you're going to use Dreadnoughts, the only way you could actually get them on the field is either 1, by starting it on the table, or 2, if it's inside the Storm Raven. And like Blood Angels, like Space Wolves, like Dark Angels, there's certain gear you get that they just do not get. I mentioned no drop pod, no Centurion, war suits. Really don't. They kind of make up for it. I mean, you don't get the grav cannon, you don't get plasma guns. They kind of make up for it in their own way. But still, I have to come back to the fact that you can actually take Terminators as a troop choice. So if your opponent, and you're looking at Grey Knights, if you're a new player, and you've never seen Grey Knights before, this video is definitely going to teach you something, because with Grey Knights giving them the troop choice, you bring 2-3 squads, full squads of Terminators. So you're talking, well, you may not do a full squad, but still 10, 15, maybe 20 Terminators on the table. That deep strike in, that is a lot of dice you have to really pump into those units to try and force them to fail a 2-up armor save. And then they even have a 5-up invuln on top of that. So Grey Knights, very strong, very solid in my opinion. Do you guys agree?